Okay, so I've got a story for you today that I gotta tell you. It starts out like something straight from a horror movie, but the way it ends, wow. It's gonna make you rethink what it even means to be afraid. We're talking about a story that completely blurs the line between a threat and a warning, and it all boils down to one simple question.
Now, really, think about that for a second. Your gut reaction to fear, right, is to think you're in danger, something bad is about to happen. But what if that feeling, that terror, is actually a warning sign? What if the very thing that's scaring you half to death is actually trying to protect you? Just keep that thought in the back of your mind as we dive in.
All right, let's set the scene. Like all the best adventures, this one kicks off with a car packed with friends, the windows down, and the promise of absolute freedom. This was the trip, the one they had been talking about, dreaming about for years. So let me introduce you to the crew. We've got 6 college buddies, totally inseparable, and they've just finished their last exams. For years, all they talked about was doing a real road trip, you know? And now, finally, this was it, their big celebration. And their destination? The absolutely gorgeous Thoseghar Waterfall in Satara. But for them, this place wasn't just some scenic spot for a picnic. Oh no, it was a symbol. It was them saying goodbye to college and hello to whatever came next.
But here's where things get interesting. When they pitched this amazing idea to their families, all that excitement just smashed right into this wall of old school superstition and fear. Yeah, they got permission to go, but it came with a very heavy, kind of chilling condition.
And the warning was so specific, it's wild. Kieran's grandmother didn't just say, oh, be careful. She zeroed in on this smaller hidden waterfall that's tucked away behind the main one. A place, she said, where souls wander, where people just slip, fall, and are never seen again. Their spirits supposedly trapped there forever.
And get this, it wasn't just her. As all the friends started comparing notes, they realized their parents had all given them the exact same warning. The message was crystal clear. Go to the main waterfall, have fun, but you do not, under any circumstances, go exploring for any other spots. I mean, it's like a classic horror movie setup, right? And you just know they're about to ignore every single word.
So you can probably guess where this is going. Yep, that forbidden spot is exactly where they ended up. It was just this perfect storm of youthful rebellion, a little bit of booze, and a main tourist spot that was way too crowded for their liking. So on the way, they stop at this roadside restaurant, a dhaba, for some food and a few drinks. By the time they get to the main waterfall, they're feeling pretty good. But man, the place is an absolute zoo, just packed with people. Annoyed and wanting some privacy, that forbidden waterfall suddenly sounds like the perfect secret hideout. They even managed to pester some other tourists into telling them how to get there.
They finally found the path and made their way down, just as the sun was starting to dip below the horizon. And at first glance, it was a paradise. Absolutely beautiful, and they had it all to themselves. But that complete isolation, which seemed so perfect at first, started to feel, well, a little creepy as it got darker.
Okay, so at this point, most of the group decides to drive back to the dhaba to grab more food. That leaves just 2 of them behind at the falls. And this is the exact moment their perfect evening takes a nosedive into absolute terror. The whole vibe is about to change in a heartbeat. So you've got Nandu, who's sober, and his buddy Shivraj, who's pretty drunk, just sitting there by the edge of the water. It is dead quiet, except for the roar of the waterfall, and then a voice. It comes from right behind them. But they heard nothing. No footsteps, no leaves crunching, just a voice that says, listen. They spin around, hearts hammering, and just standing there, silently, is a group of about 15 men and women. They appeared out of thin air. No sound, no warning. One second they were alone, the next, they weren't.
And the voice speaks, and the voice is completely flat. No anger, no emotion, nothing. It's not a suggestion. It is a cold, hard command. This place is not for people like you. Get up and leave now, or something will happen.
Shivraj, full of liquid courage, he just loses it. He stumbles to his feet and starts yelling, swearing, asking who the hell they think they are. But here is the part that is so deeply unnerving. The group, they don't react at all. While Shivraj is just raging, they stand there, perfectly still. Their faces are just blank, and their eyes are completely hollow. It's that total lack of a reaction that sends a deep, cold shiver right down the sober Nandu's spine. Nandu immediately starts apologizing, grabbing Shivraj, promising they'll leave right now. The figures turned, all at the same time, as if to leave. And that is when both Nandu and Shivraj see it. The one impossible detail that just shatters everything. Their feet. They weren't on the ground. They were floating, hovering just a few inches above the dirt as they moved away. The shock was so intense, it instantly sobered Shivraj right up.
What came next was just pure, primal panic. I mean, they didn't stick around to ask questions. They just scrambled up that path as fast as they could, their only thought being to get away from that impossible, terrifying sight.
They're just bolting through the woods as it's getting dark, not even thinking, when they literally run right into their friends who are on their way back with the food. And you know, one look at the absolute terror on their faces was all it took. Nobody said a word. The whole group just turned and ran for the car. They peel out of there and drive straight back to the dhaba, babbling about what happened. The cashier working there overhears them, comes over to their table, and basically confirms every single one of their fears. He tells them, yeah, the locals all know about that spot. It's dangerous. People have slipped and fallen from those cliffs to their deaths over the years, and their spirits, he says, still haunt the place. He even tells them he once saw a figure himself, just sitting in a tree, watching him.
And this is the moment the whole story just flips on its head. That horrifying, terrifying encounter suddenly takes on a completely new meaning. Because the real question wasn't what those things were, it was why they were there. Were they a threat, or were they a rescue party?
As the friends sat there, the adrenaline finally fading, a really chilling thought started to sink in. A realization that reframed the entire night. Not as an attack, but as an act of protection.
And it was Shivraj, the guy who had been the most confrontational, who finally said it out loud. He realized that in his drunken state, he'd been sitting right on the edge of a slick, dangerous cliff in the dark. If those things hadn't shown up, if they hadn't scared the life out of them, they would have just stayed there, drinking. One wrong move, one slip, and that would have been it. And that's where this story leaves us, with the idea that maybe, just maybe, the spirits of those who died at that waterfall weren't evil at all. Maybe they were guardians, using the only tool they had, fear, to stop anyone else from making the same fatal mistake. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How often does protection show up looking like a monster? And would you be able to tell the difference before it's too late?